Thanks for your time, Kurt. Appreciate you coming in. And first things first, how did you end up playing basketball over any other sport?
Well, basketball's always been a family sport. My parents both played it. My mum's brothers and sisters all played it, and I just grew up around it. Dad got me into basketball at the age of 7, so it was. It's always been a sport of the family and myself. But I also did pretty well in swimming when I was young. Go to the state championships and that. But basketball was always one that I really excelled in.
And I suppose basketball over swimming, I suppose you just enjoyed it that bit more?
Yeah, swimming got a bit boring, just watching the black line all day and training and that, but it's an individual sport and I love team sport, and that's what really pushed me towards playing basketball.
And originally a Townsville boy up in Queensland, what on earth made you come to Mount Gambier of all places?
Well, at that time I was in the Townsville Crocodiles squad, and I was getting limited opportunities. I got to set up a couple of games and a few pre-season games, but you're pretty much training bait. And I was just looking, I was really I really love Townsville, but I was really looking to move out of Townsville and to progress my basketball. And I was just on a basketball website one day, and Mount Gambier were looking for a position. Emailed the coach at the time, John Burns, and he got back to me straight away and said, "Oh, look, we're pretty well covered for this season 2001, but look, we'll keep you in mind and we'll go from there." But to the year before, Townsville played Mount Gambier in the national quarter final. Mount Gambier came to Townsville and played, and I had a fairly good game, even though they pretty much had us beat at quarter time. Damien Anderson, I think, had about 25 three-pointers in the first quarter. That really done us in, but I had a fairly good game that game, and so John Burns sort of knew who I was anyway. And but after that email he typed back to me, he got back to me about 3 or 4 days afterwards and said, "Look, that option we're looking at has fallen through. Let's talk about getting you down to Mount Gambier," and then sort of just went from there.
Rightio, and as we discussed off air, that wasn't your first experience in the South East Australian Basketball League. Just talk us through your season with the AIS.
Well, in 1998, I was part of the Australian Institute of Sport on a scholarship, and back then, I think they're out of the competition now, but they've been a part of the competition for a few years now, or for a lot of years now, and they played in the South. I think we were part of the East Conference then, as in not opposed to the South Conference, so I had a season down there. I think it was 27 games. I think I played for the AIS, and it's a good experience because you're only 16, 17 years old, and you're playing against men, which was great. So that's a long time ago now, 13 years ago. So, but no, it was a very good experience.
And it would have built up to this. Now talking about the championship era. At the start of the 2003 season, was there a feeling amongst the team at the time that they could actually take it all the way?
Yeah, we were pretty hungry. Like the year before that, we got knocked out by Ballarat in the semi-final, so that hurt, and we got the core group back for the year after, and we're just sort of missing that one factor. And I'm sure if you met Jamie Holmes, he would tell you that he is the X factor and was the X factor, and and we just had that missing piece. And Jamie came in, and he was that piece that we needed. And as soon as we come in, we started winning. I think we lost 5 games for the whole season, and it was just a good bunch of guys. We played as a team. And just and we definitely had that winning culture and winning feeling, and we had that confidence, and that really helped us out.
And fast forward to the South Conference Championship game of that season against Ballarat at the Ice House of all places. Just the Pioneers trailed at every break during that game, and then managed to take the win in the last few minutes thanks to a number of free throws. How did it feel? How special was it to get over the line after being down all game in front of over 1,000 people in Mount Gambier?
I couldn't remember that until I saw that written down, that we trailed every quarter, and we just didn't want to lose. Like, that was just obviously our goal was to win the game. But 2 weeks ago we played Ballarat in the semi-final, and we beat them quite comfortably to get the home final. And we knew that they were probably going to beat, I think it was Northwest Tassie. I think they had to play in the playoff game back at Ballarat. We knew they were going to win that, so we knew we were going to play Ballarat. And one thing we hate doing is losing to Ballarat. We just dug deep. There were some players, like Jamie had his points, and there were some players that just stood up at the end of the game and got us that lead back, and it was the crowd. Like, the crowd was phenomenal. I can still remember, it was jam-packed, over 1,000 people inside the stadium, and then we still had another 200 or 300 people out on court 3 with the big screen set up and bar set up, watching the game out there as well, live on the TV. But I remember in the last dying minutes of the game, everyone from court 3 actually came over to to court one and then just jammed it, and it was just an amazing experience. And and you know, we just got the win, and we were just hungry. We got the win, and you know, there were some big players, and we won the championship.
And then on a more personal note for yourself, the ABA championship not long after against Ballarat yet again, where they stood between you and glory once more. After scoring 22 points yourself just in the first quarter, you must have thought that, you know, championship basketball was pretty easy stuff.
It was. I mean, it was the whole weekend of basketball. You know, we had our first 2 games, and you know, like we got through those games pretty well, and you know, we'll keep an eye on who we may come up against, and we're just hoping, you know, we hope it's Ballarat, because we'd love to beat them, you know, 3 or 4 times in the last month, just in you know, taking things away from them. And you know, after that first quarter, I think I hit 6 threes in the first quarter, and it was just like, wow, you know, I've never done this before. And you know, I've always been a scorer, but to actually do it on that scene was just an unreal feeling. And you know, I think I was 6 or 7 from the 3-point line in the first quarter, and my first 3-pointer of the second quarter was an air ball. I was open from the same spot. I hit like 3 threes, and then it was an air ball. I'm like, wow, you know, maybe I just had a heat check, and I was but no, it just kept going, and you know, other people stood up, and you know, and the good thing about that team is that they just kept finding me. You know, they knew I had a hot hand that game, and they kept finding me. But you know, once their focus came on me, you know, like Damien Anderson and Jamie Holmes, and even Damien Smith, I think had 22 or something that game, and everyone just stood up, and you know, it was just once again a good team win.
And as you say, you opened the second quarter with an air ball from the 3-point line. As it panned out, you only scored another 23 points for the rest of the game.
I slackened off.
But they still gave you the MVP regardless.
Yeah.
So as MVP in the national game and taking out the title as well, can you describe how much that meant to you and how it felt at the time?
Yeah, like the MVP award didn't really, you know, obviously it's a great personal achievement, but you know, to actually win the national title, you know, again over Ballarat, but just as a rewarding thing for us in Mount Gambier, was just an amazing experience, and you know, it was just one of those things where it was sort of surreal, because like, you know, we had such a big build up, because you work hard for the South Conference title, and that's what we worked hard to do, and then all of a sudden you go out and party and celebrate, and all of a sudden you got 3 more trainings, you to go away a whole weekend and try and do it again, and to actually get it done and be the #1 club in Australia was just, you know, who would have thought Mount Gambier would be the #1 club in Australia? Like, it was just unreal. And but yeah, it was it just sort of just capped our year off. You know, we had a lot of individual awards throughout the year, like Jamie MVP. I got the youth player MVP as well for the final, and I think Moose and Jamie made All-Star 5. You know, there was all these little individual accolades, but you know, to what we did as a team was just, you know, you can't replace that.